Certainly one of the most important aspects of being a good presenter, a good CLE speaker, is the degree to which you use visuals. And of course, we're talking about PowerPoint. There are 5 key things I want you to keep in mind as you think about what makes a good slide and what will engage your audience. The first one is to consider using more pictures and fewer words. Now, let's be honest. The law is a written profession and we're all about words, and that's important. But there's many times in which you can take words and replace them with visuals. So for instance, let's look at this example from a law firm in Florida. They have this list of 9 things that's a part of the revised patent process. It's fine, it does the job, it's okay. But really, where are you supposed to look? If you're a audience member and you see the slide pop up, you might be focused on number 4 when the person's talking about number 1. Or you might be on number 7 when they're on number 5, and that doesn't really help you out very much. A better way to approach it might be, here are the 9 steps, but let's give it to you one step at a time as a visual. So the first step is to talk about the patent disclosure. The second step, the evaluation. The third step, the written estimate. The 4th step, to get an agreement. The 5th step, make a deposit. The 6th step, etc. The 7th, 8th, and then finally the 9th part is the putting it into the, or submitting it for approval to apply to the U.S. Patent Office. That's a much better approach than, let's go back to the original. This guy. It gets the job done again, but I think most people would agree that looking at the visual here, little by little, picture by picture, will help your audience understand it. And the more your audience understands and embraces what you're talking about, the more they're going to enjoy the process, and most importantly for you all, the speaker, they're going to give you higher evaluations, and that's what we all want to see. So that's one key aspect. The next one is to consider moving through a series of slides being more important than staying on just one slide for a long time. So keep in mind your audience's attention span. They'll focus and they'll listen and they'll pay attention, but if you stay in one static slide too long, just like we talked about in the webcast video, they can tend to get bored with that, because what we're used to, at least in 2014 here in America, is a lot of visual eye candy, computer-generated graphics, online, internet, all this kind of stuff. And then we want to see that same thing happen in our learning experiences. So keep that in mind as well. Number 3, consider using builds or bolding or highlighting keywords within your presentation. So for instance, when we look at this slide, this is from a law firm in the Midwest. And all you need to know about it is this is a slide they put together to a group of people who are about to start serving on a hospital board. That's all you have to know. But you can look at it just from the very beginning here, and it's not that good of a slide. It's got way too much text. There's no bullets, where you're supposed to look, no rhyme or reason. It's not very pretty. So at the very least, if we kind of put this through a filter of ways to make it better, let's take those steps together. The first one is, by all means, let's put it into bullet form. So they have 4 main ideas they want to get across. That's lovely, but there's still a long way to go. The next step might be, as we said a moment ago, is to highlight a couple of keywords per bullet. So without belaboring the point, we've already done the work for you, and here we have each bullet has 2 to maybe 4 words that are highlighted that direct your eye where you want them to look and what is most salient or what they should walk away with from each point. It can be even stronger. In fact, we could turn this into what I like to call a 4x4 slide. A 4x4 slide is a slide in which you have no more than 4 bullets per slide and no more than 4 words per bullet. Now before you panic and start getting heart palpitations, let's look at how this might be done. You take that same slide, and now instead of me reading it to you word for word, I say in general, hey, there's some key responsibilities and some potential liability, and then I would spend time filling those in. Here's why you should speak up. Here's some conflicts of interest, etc. It lets you, the speaker, bring the slide to life, and at the same time, the slide makes you, the presenter, stronger. Now, taking this up even one level higher, you could very easily and quickly, with a few clicks of your mouse, turn this into what Steve Jobs would call a smart art graphic. If you don't know how to use this, feel free to talk to us or find a local 5th grader, and they'll be able to show you how to make this happen. So here's how you might do that. Hey folks, when it comes time to serving on a hospital board, remember, you have significant responsibilities and potential liability. 1, to speak up. 2, to handle conflicts of interest. 3, to handle disagreements. And then go on from there. Now let's just do one more thing. Let's compare this to the other slide. Which one do you like better? This slide or this guy? Now most people are it's horrible, it hurts their retinas, it burns their eyes, it's very painful. This is not a place you want to be. So that's using bold words and builds. The next point I'd like to say is consider using standard fonts. One of the things we find here at Minnesota CLE is once in a while we'll see an attorney come and they'll have a font that's just a little too cute, a little too ornate, a little too crammed together, and it's just physically hard for people to process and read and understand. So make sure you use just a standard font, the basics, maybe the Arials, maybe Helvetica, those kinds of ones. Don't get too creative, don't get too fancy, don't let your words get too crushed together. And then the last point I want to make is try not to have your handouts be simply copies of your slides. Now remember, a slide is there to help make your presentation stronger, to bring your speech to life. A handout, on the other hand, is something you give to your audience that you allow them to walk away with and review upon another date or a future time to review some key ideas. If you've done your slides well, they shouldn't be that effective as being a handout. So that's why I say have your slides do one thing, help your presentation excel in a live format, and then have your handout be more details, articles, laws that you cite, whatever it might be, but have that be thicker, more heavy information, but your slides are a separate thing altogether. So the top 5 things for a good PowerPoint presentation are: use more pictures and fewer words. Move through a series of slides, keep it clicking versus having one static slide on for any long period of time. Number 3, use builds and bold out certain words to make them stronger. 4, use standard fonts. And then 5, don't use your slides as your handouts. You do those things and people will be eating out of your hand figuratively. Thanks so much.